4.1. Write linear equations in slope-intercept form. Y-intercept. The y-intercept of a graph is the y-coordinate of a point where a graph crosses the x-axis. Slope is the ratio of the vertical change, in other words, the rise, to the horizontal change, the run, between any 2 points on a non-vertical line. In slope-intercept form will be y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. This is one way to write a linear equation. Or simply a function. To be more specific, linear function. Okay, let's take a look at a quick example here to the right. Y equals 2x minus 3. According to the slope-intercept form, we can rewrite this as y equals 2x plus negative 3. So our y-intercept will be negative 3. And our slope will be 2. So I'm going to graph this. I'm going to begin with a y-intercept of negative 3, 0, negative 3. I'll label it. And since the slope is 2, I'm going to rewrite that as positive 2 over positive 1. This means I would shift 2 units up along the y-axis and 1 unit to the right. 1, 2, stop, and then 1 unit to the right. And I can label this point as 1, negative 1. And then I'm going to connect my dots. Okay, and again, my y-intercept. The slope of this is positive 2. And this is just one way to graph a linear function. I will review this with you again in a later lesson. So just review the vocabulary terms and be able to understand what the graph of a linear function looks like for now. Here the function form. Y can be written as simply f or f of x. Therefore, f of x equals mx plus b. So whatever you plug in for x here, you sub it into x here, and it will produce f of x, which is your y value. So if we look at an example to the right, for y equals 2x minus 3, if I let x equals to 2, this is random, just pick the random x value, and then we can substitute in x for 2. y equals 2 times 2 minus 3, and we get 1. And this is the same as when I write f of x equals 2 times x minus 3. So I can erase x here and put in the 2. Okay, so this, I just simply replaced y with f of 2. Let's do some guided practice. Part A, write an equation of the line with the given slope and y-intercept. Well, if you know this, y equals mx plus b, you can simply substitute m for negative 2 over 5, and then substitute b for negative 5. To make this look even simpler, you can just simply write minus 5, which also stands for negative 5. This will be the best answer. And let's look at this one. Write an equation of the line that passes through the given points. So when I'm given 2 points, I need to find the slope. To find the slope, I need to find the change in y over the change in x. So I'm going to take the second point and minus the first point for the y values. So negative 22 minus 10 over 5 minus negative 3. And let's do the math. You get negative 32 over 8, and this would be negative 4. And then y will equal to negative 4x plus b. Now I'm going to choose an easy point, negative 310, and sub it in for x and y so I can solve for b to get my equation of the line. Y will be 10, x will be negative 3. And then b will be negative 2. Now that I have my y-intercept, my slope, I can write the equation of the line. Y equals negative 4x minus 2. Part C, write an equation for the linear function f with the given values. So if you're given a problem like this, you can rewrite this as 2 points. And then you can find a slope. So this actually looks like the previous problem. Negative 4 minus 2. 15 minus 6, negative 6 over 9. So our slope is negative 2/3. And now I need to find out what my y-intercept is. So I'm going to choose the easier point and sub it in here. So y is 2, slope is negative 2/3. x is 6. I can simplify. So 2 equals negative 4 plus b, and b equals 6. Now I have my y-intercept, my slope. I can write the equation of the line. Plus 6 because this is positive. Now for part D, write an equation that represents the linear function shown in the table or mapping diagram. Well, here I have a mapping diagram, so you can ignore this part. As you can see, this point would be 0, negative 6. So this would naturally become my y-intercept. I don't have to calculate my y-intercept anymore. I only need to calculate my slope. So I'm just going to pick any 2 points. Maybe this. 0, negative 6 and 1, negative 5. So my slope would be negative 5 minus negative 6 over 1 minus 0. Negative 5 plus 6 is positive 1. 1 over 1 is still 1. My equation of the line will be y equals x minus 6. So remember, if you have a slope of positive 1, you don't need to write it. And here's my y-intercept. That's why it's negative 6. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this one. Okay. Now let's look at 2 word problems involving the form y equals mx plus b. The initial fee, meaning the starting fee, to have a website set up using a server is $48. It costs $44 per month to maintain the website. Part A. Write an equation that gives the total cost of setting up and maintaining a website as a function of the number of months it is maintained. So let's first define our variables. F of x, or in other words, y, will be your total cost. And x will be the number of months. So, since the rate is $44 per month, this will be my slope. Or rate of change. Okay, this is also rate of change. So 44x. And the initial fee is $48. It doesn't change. Will be my y-intercept. So when you're setting up these equations, you need to first think about what are your variables? What is x? What is y? And what is the piece of information in my word problem that will represent the slope or the rate of change? And what is the other piece of information that will represent the y-intercept that doesn't change? Okay? Now part B, find the total cost of setting up and maintaining the website for 6 months. So you can take your function in part B and substitute in x for 6. And this would become $312. Okay, let's take a look at this problem. It's a little bit more challenging than the first one. For exercise, you swim several times a week. Currently, you swim 5 laps each time you swim. You want to gradually increase the number of laps each time you swim. Your plan is to swim 2 additional laps each time you swim. Write an equation that gives you the total number of laps you swim as a function of the number of times you have been swimming since you started adding laps. Find the total number of laps you will swim in 8 weeks if you swim 3 times a week. Okay, let's first take care of the first part of the question. Let's define our variables. F of x, or y, will be total number of laps. X will be the number of times you swim. And in the word problem, it told you that you already are swimming 5 laps. So that's your y-intercept. It's a fixed number. It won't change. And here it says you want to swim 2 additional laps each time you swim. So this would be your rate of change, or in other words, your slope. To x. So now that I've taken care of the first part of the question, I can look at the second part of the question. Find the total number of laps you will swim in 8 weeks if you swim 3 times a week. Remember, x stands for number of times you swim. So you need to take 8 and 3 and multiply these 2 pieces of information to get the total number of times you swim during these 8 weeks. So we need to sub in 24 for x. To get 53 laps. And this concludes our lesson.